Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going live or recorded. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Hopefully, you all are having a great time out there, and you are doing good. Well, welcome to the broadcast booth again, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson, and it is bright and early in the fucking morning. As we always go live around this time. I'm just checking some settings there for you folks. All right. Hopefully we are doing good out there and things will go accordingly as they should. Oh man. What a world. That was one of our other titles out there. Lots is happening here. Like I said, we got so many commissions sitting here that I'm working on. And we'll get in today's title here in just a few moments, which is Forgotten Toys. And for us, older folk, it'll be from the toys from the 70s, 80s, and some early 90s. But if you remember something that you grew up with, you can chime in with that as well. But again, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, where we talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, nostalgia, life, my artwork, my comic book stuff in the works, my book novel covers that I'm working on, huge massive pieces that I'm working on, like this 18 by 24 God of War that I'm putting a lot of detail into right this moment. Dun, 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 right there. We're getting into the detail portions of this sucker right now. Bum, bum, bum. I'll take it back so you can see it really, really good, all of it. But it's a massive piece. And then, if you haven't picked up your book yet, pick up Sour Worlds. My artwork on the cover. Mr. James Bishop, Calamities here is the first book. Book 2 is getting ready to be out. Right here. And there you go. Calamities is out right now. But this is my artwork on the cover. Book 2 has my artwork on it as well. And so will book 3 and 4. And depending on anything else that happens after that, I will be on all of those covers as well. And then, let's see, working on his logo for his piece as well. His Sour Worlds logo that's going to be on everything. And then another book cover right here. And give me just a second because I have a cleaning cloth right here. That's giving me a lot of feedback on that. I know I used to have one right here. I don't see one. You guys run away from your cleaning cloths too. Oh well, we'll keep going. To the sketch cover I'm working on for this Predator piece right here. Lots of stuff happening over here. Good morning, Mr. Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Glad to see you're here with us. And the likes are already shooting up, and we enjoy that. All right, today we're going to be talking about just life in general. You know, we all grow up with certain things. Some of us grow up without certain things because the family just couldn't afford them or whatever. But we saw other people with them, and it's just like, man, I wish I could get that, or you know, that'd be fun to play with or have, or you know, whatever. And I'm not talking about people or things like that. You weirdos. I mean, I guess it's no weirder than the crew that came on the other day and told me my skin was pretty and wanted to wear it. along with their other skin suits that they had. And there's no Silence of the Lambs shit going on here. There's no Ed Gein shit going on here. So hold on, I gotta see what that said. And we ain't into that shit here, dude. So sorry, bud. You got the wrong person. The only person I know that's on Grinder is an ex friend of mine. He loves it on there. I think he's with you. I think actually. And you know what? This dude is gonna be going away because we don't play that shit here. You know, I have a girlfriend. I'm not into dudes like you are apparently. So you enjoy your time. You know. And done. See you later, dickhead. Bum bum bum. There you go. And that's how you deal with shit like that. We don't play that shit. If you're into dudes, that's cool. I'm not. Jarts, absolutely. Dennis, 100%. I nearly hit my cousin in the head with one of those. Heavy metal on one end with a plastic tail on the other. Absolutely, 100%. And we're going to talk about those type of things. And that's what today is going to be about. Forgotten toys of the 70s, 80s, and some early 90s. And there's even some that I don't even remember, but and maybe you guys will as we talk about it. Oh, let's see. What happened yesterday? Yesterday, I picked up a whole bunch of more building material, so that was fun. Because I'm getting ready to take a window unit out of a wall since they put it in the wall. And I needed materials, and it was just like, well, I'm going to have to get materials to fill it up. Well, luckily, lo and behold, someone had some free materials, and I went and picked them up, and we got to talking, found out her life story. She's 67 years old, got some back problems, and yes, they had the rings that you were supposed to toss the jarts at. Yes, Dennis, 100%. And and no, it we were just playing with them as kids, and of course we got into war with them, just like we did with BB guns, later on in the day. And back at that time frame, when you're teenagers, you get bored with just doing the normal stuff with things, and so you start tossing them at each other or BB gun wars and things like that. And so, you know, I was a better shot than he was. Just saying. I riddled him with BBs one time, and he got so pissed off that he walks up to me. His BB gun is pumped 10 max or something like that. Puts it straight to my leg and pulls the trigger. I had a BB embedded into my leg, um, right on the calf bone, and it was quite humorous. It hurt, of course, but we were laughing about it. Just like he knocked my doing some play fighting, he knocked my tooth out. I chipped my tooth with a spoon. Um, so yeah, and oh no, I've been asleep, bud. And so great times, great times, great times growing up. Because nowadays that type of stuff, Harold, my day's been great. How has your day been? Didn't sleep much last night, so all good. We've got some stupid idiots up in here today. And it's just real easy to just do that little number right there. And gone. I don't know where these people come from, but ain't none of these people know me. Harold, you will know that question more than I will. So you go figure it out. All right, we're going to talk about. Yeah, Casey. So, oh, we got some doozies in here again today. All right. So let's get into some of the forgotten toys of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Like we've already started out with Dennis bringing up the whole jarts. If you don't know what those are, those were big ass darts that had a ring that you tossed into. And yes, they were quite dangerous. Um, it was a big metal tip. It wasn't quite sharp, but it was going that direction, if you know. If you've ever seen them and if you know what they are. Oh, absolutely. I had some of those. Yep. A lot of the toys that we played with shot missiles, you know, including the, what was it? It was a Shogun Warriors. The whole fucking hand had missiles on it, you know, and the hand would detach and shoot out. So, and then there was a Boba Fett that had the launching missile off of his back as well. That got recalled, and so if you were lucky enough to get one of those, you've got a $1 million investment almost with that toy because I've seen it go for you know over 12 to $1,500, you know, or more, especially if it's still in the box in the packaging. So lots of toys that we played with used to shoot things, and then they started making it where it would just shoot out but not go out. So they would change it up because oh somebody shot themselves with it because they were looking at it and it poked them in the eye. Well, yeah, it's a toy that shoots out. What did you expect if you're looking down the barrel of it? You know. Here's one that I don't remember, but it's Mr. Potato Bird. It is basically Mr. Potato Head, but I, I'm well, the way it looks, you actually stuck it. No, it was an actual plastic potato, but you turned it into a bird. I don't remember that one, but maybe somebody else out there does. But it was made by Hasbro. Interesting piece. Then we had all those big puzzles. I don't remember if any of those. Remember those big puzzles that we used to have back in the day? Of course, I didn't use any of this stuff, but they had Fashion Doll bedroom set instead of Barbie stuff. Miss Deb with hair that grows longer. Oh, that's cool. Those are worth some money today. If you you know are ever interested in selling that one, not to me because I don't have any money right now. But no, I would love to have my Shogun Warriors back from back in the day because those were cool. But this is a doll that hair grew. What else we got? Whirl out game. You must keep the wheel from whirling for you to be a winner. So apparently this is a strategy game. The wind up ghost from Pac-Man. Those were fun. I used to have some of those. I wish I still had those, but those disappeared a long time ago. Oh, Slinky was a big craze back in the day, and they even started making cars with it. This is a crazy little contraption. Slinky cars with the wheels as Slinkies. Hubert Shrinky Dinks. I remember the Shrinky Dinks. I still have some Shrinky Dinks running around here somewhere. Um, I even tried. I've used them since then, and they still work. The Donkey Card collectible arcade figure from Coleco. What else we got? A lot of this stuff I don't remember myself, but there's quite a bit of it as I'm looking at them. Hey, I remember playing that. There you go. See, as we did. I mean, we had to come up with because we would lose the pieces. We would lose the projectiles from those, and we would repurpose like you did the caps and things like that from pins and things like that to make it happen. The Pac-Man Suncatcher. Ah, the good old Ben Kenobi. That's not a forgotten toy. That's still a sought after toy right there. That's the big 12 incher. Ha ha ha. No pun intended. Space 1999 Mattel. Now that was more obscure. Commander Coing. The Close Encounters figures, the bendy extraterrestrial figures. That would be a cool one to have to find in its package. That would be awesome. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What a movie. What a movie. I mean, that movie alone by Spielberg was great. A lot of people didn't like it. Dr. McCoy from Star Trek, the Mego figure, when they were cool. Now the Mego figures on Eddie Vedder, huh? Eddie Vedder, great guitarist. Star Trek Intergalactic Planetarium. There you go. Now a lot of those nostalgic uh, musicians were great. Oh, that teddy bear! I remember that teddy bear. I don't know what his name is, but he had a big sad face on him. The hot potato game, which they've redone. You know, this one was the had a little timer that looked like a clock. I bought a Starbird spaceship for 15 bucks at a flea market. I used to have one. That's awesome. And it's always cool whenever you find something of nostalgia that's at a cheap price. A favorite guitarist of all time. Oof. No, I've got many. I mean, Slash is one of my greats, of course. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, yeah, tops. Because there's just so many musicians out there that they each have a different, like Randy Rhoads. Let's take Randy Rhoads. Died well long before his time, and one of the greatest musicians of all time. I mean, you've got Jimi Hendrix as well, um, and all these people unfortunately were taken before their time. Of course, it was Randy Rhoads was a different story, but Jimi Hendrix could have been avoided. If you know, you know. But throughout history, there's been a lot of great musicians as far as guitarists go, and you get the controversies with a lot of them that people will love them or they hate them because they're in a specific band, you know, and it's just like I can't stand the Beatles. I could care less about the Beatles, 100%. But there's so many people that love the Beatles, and it's just I just don't understand it. I was not never been a Beatles fan. I can tell you their songs. I can tell you what Paul McCartney songs are, but I've never enjoyed the Beatles. They've just never been a band that resonated with me. I didn't like their sound. I didn't like, you know, my favorite band of all time is Guns N' Roses. I've seen them live in concert when they were in their prime, back in the 90's. Followed their career since Hollywood Rose when they were in a punk rock band. And Starbird was cool. It was sold at Radio Shack. Rest in peace. It makes an ascending sound when you point it up. Yeah, I remember that toy. Um, there's a lot of toys that I remember that I had back in the day that I wish I hadn't sold. Um, and because I was an idiot when I sold them, sold it at a comic book convention, and I got like 600 bucks, 300 in trade and 300 in cash. So I thought I was doing great. Their angst punk sound at the beginning. Favorite song of theirs is Coma. It's a very long song. Um, it talks about the time he tried, and I have to change words here, or we get restrictions. It's the time he tried to commit schmuicide, and he was revived. All the things that were flashing through his head during that moment. And I've never, I've contemplated it when my son died. That was back in 2009. And for a year, it took me to get out of that mindset, where I felt like Riggs, from Lethal Weapon, when he has, Murtaugh in the room by himself, talking about why he does what he does and why he decides not to do it every day. Um, but it's a great song, and they've got a ton of great songs. Because as an angst teenager, whenever I was listening to their music, um, young 20-year-old kid, it all resonated with me back then, and their music was just great to listen to. Had fast-paced beats. It was killer riffs on the guitar, and then of course things changed because even the band couldn't stand each other, and now they put their differences aside for the most part, except for I don't think they've brought back Steven Adler, the first drummer they had, whom they kicked out because of drug problems that he had. So, which is kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, since they all had those issues. Um, and album covers were cool, and I mean, it's just all the stuff that made them them. And they definitely have changed over the years, but especially personnel, if you will. All right, let's see, where are we at here? CB headset radio receiver for the $6 million man, the Bionic Woman bank. I didn't know they had a bank for her. Los Angeles County Fire and Rescue Squad, the Buck Rogers Land Rover. That one was a fun one. I didn't have it, but I saw kids that did have it. I wish I did have some of that stuff today still. Battlestar Galactica, the Colonial Scarab, Planet of the Apes Treehouse. I remember that one. Johnny Quest game. I remember that one. I've seen that one. The Great Garloo. This was a big green toss figure type of a thing, and he had these arms that were out here that would go up and down, and well, it wasn't really a ring toss, but you could have used them as a ring toss. Magic Marksy was the people that created him. He was a cool one. Don't remember that one. The five Fun Time game boards. Hare and Tortoise, Go Home, High Jump, Tic Tac Toe, and Move Over. The Guru. I remember the Guru. This predates the Troll doll for the most part, but it was this figure that looked like an old hermit looking guy. It had all this hair going everywhere. But the Guru. Yeah, the Nedinator. Wow, here we go with another one on the voodoo kick shit. You bring on your voodoo, I don't give a fuck. Masters of the Universe Snake Mountain. That one was a good one. I remember that one because it had the microphone on it. And Liz, welcome to the show. Good morning. Our favorite MP is here. Maybe you can take care of the voodoo priestess bullshit that's going on over there. You'll beat the shit out of him or something. I'm not in stoking violence there, but that's the second show we've had some voodoo priestess going on. Coming on wanting to use my face for voodoo. Like that scares me. Please get out of here. Not even the kid talking about using my skin as a skin suit scared me. So you guys can fuck off with that shit. And voodoo doesn't mean what you guys think it means, especially those of you that want to try and practice it. All right. So we're talking about nostalgic toys from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I'm exhausted, but I just woke up. Well, I'm glad you're here for the show. Believe me, I mean, you are, I know you're going through some shit, and we all do, and all are. And, you know, you're here, and that's enough. I wouldn't know. Yes, I know you're still a young pup out there. Haven't even hit drinking age yet. Um, we got that. The waterful ring toss, that little water game that had the rings in it, and you hit that little button, and it would shoot the rings up from the air pressure, and you try to land them on the little spikes in there. Those are always fun. That's the stuff that predates the handheld games of today. Even our phones of today. I have one of those. Etch a Sketch, the original Etch a Sketch, you know, that people would draw the freaking Taj Mahal on, and some people were just lucky enough to, oh, I think this is a horse, you know. The Go Fish game, that was awesome. Had the rotating piece with the fish to come up and bite the hook, and so you had a brief moment to get them out of there. I know they still make some of these games today. They've just reinvented them. The Mego bouncy balls. You can still find these, but the vintage ones, they turn into bricks after a while because the rubber content just kind of solidifies after a while. So now you've got a big marble instead of a bouncy ball. The fashion plates. I used to have the monster plate where if you don't know what the fashion plate is, you had this box of plastic, and on that you had these stencils basically, and you would put your paper down on top of it, and then you would rub on top of it, and it would create your figure. And this one is for fashion design, where you would change the clothing for the person that you're doing. It had like three different plates: the head, the torso, and the body, the leg area, and then so you had all this kind of stuff. Nice. Oh my fucking god. I've never blocked so many people in my fucking life on a live show. But all these fucking idiots that are coming out of the woodwork today. And that was a good joke. Absolutely. All the football games, including the one that had the vibrating board and the actual football players on it. And you tried to get through the defense, just by putting them out there, flicking on the board, and it just went. That was cool. Oh, the old Viewmaster. Viewmaster was fun. The hockey table that you move with your hands. I'm trying to remember that one. But are you talking about the ones with it on the side? The foosball, or not foosball tables, but what are they called? Oh, yeah, electric football. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're on the side and you're kicking the either the football or the soccer ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I saw one on the curb. I should have picked it up. The Game Boy. I know a lot of people still want the Game Boy. Light Bright. That was always fun. Oh, the Polly Pocket shit. That was a big craze. The Fisher Price Doctor set. I haven't watched it yet. Joker or Toker. The but I hear it's good. What about the space shooter thing? That one you're gonna have to enlighten me on. Tamagotchi. Those were huge back in the '90s. Or the tennis game where you move the walls up and down. See, I don't know the tennis game. Oh, the Pogs. Pogs were huge, and it bounces the ball in between. No, I don't remember that one. Pogs were a huge thing. I used to have a ton of those. Oh, the Cushy balls, Slinky, of course. Any version of those. See, there you go. Dennis remembers that one. The troll dolls that I just talked about. I don't remember that one. I was outside playing with shit. I wasn't, all about the games and stuff like that most of the time. Stretch Armstrong. I loved my Stretch Armstrong with his counterpart, the green guy. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, those solitaire. Yes, solitaire is a good one. Oh, oh, Mousetrap. I wish I still had my Mousetrap game. That one was fun. Oh my fucking god. Where do these fucktards come from? I mean, seriously. Oh, from their parents, apparently. Jesus. And they have multiple accounts, which is fucking stupid. Oh, that clear phone. Everybody had that clear phone back in the 90s. That neon phone. That was fun. The monster finger puppets, which they still make. Simon. Oh, the flying glider. I used to have some of those. Had the propeller on the front end. You would throw it. It would look like it was actually moving the propeller. Oh, the clacker. That classic clacker from the 90s. Rotary phones. No, this was an actual push button phone, but rotary phones, yes, back in the day. We'll leave that one alone since there's enough dickheads coming on here talking about the water weenie. Perfection was a fun game. Oh, yeah, skip it. It was that you put this ball and chain on your ankle and you skipped over the top of it. You still, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They had ducks and they had dogs and they had other things of that nature that you would pull behind you and it would the feet would go and all that good stuff. They had many different styles, but and I still don't remember how to or I still don't know how to use a rotary phone. It's just like typing in a regular. You just pull it. What number you're starting with? 4, 7, 9, or 5, 1, 8, or whatever state your area code starts with, you're doing the same thing. I'm trying to think of other stuff I know that are back from your time. Silly putty. That was a great time, as it would get into everything, especially if you left it out of the egg. Ah, the Lego glow in the dark ghosts from back in the day. Those were cool. The Transformers from the Happy Meals. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, and it told you what sound each animal made. Absolutely. My kids actually played with one of those in the '90s, and I know that they had them in the '80s as well. Possibly the '70s, they might have had some, but it had the arrow, and you would turn it to that animal, and then you would pull the string, and it would say, "The cow says." Yeah, absolutely. Beanie Babies. Yeah, my mother collected Beanie Babies. I just never understood them. The only one I've got is the Scorpion up here because it's a got an error on the card, so I've got him up here in my collection. The Scorpion, the Garfield phone. I had one in the '60s. That's awesome. And see the nostalgic toys, that we all remember, and that might even be on here because it's coming up to the Sesame Street and Disney pop-up pals from Play School. Those I remember those 100%. The some of the names they came up with some of these things is why I'm blocking a lot of people on here. But the Play-Doh fuzzy pumper, barber and beauty shop, where you would rotate the Play-Doh through the hair of the figure. And here goes another one. I'm not playing today, fuckers. You want to come on my show and do shit, you're gone. Peace out. Bye. I'm sick and tired of you fucktards. You can go bother somebody else. But then you would give them a haircut, and remember the phone that you could pull with a cord? Oh yeah, absolutely. And the eyes would go up and down. It looked like a rotary phone. Liz. Kinder surprise toys. I don't remember those. I wasn't into the Kinder shit. I do remember the Viewmasters. Oh my fucking god! Now I've got a violation warning. Your live is flagged for hate speech and hateful behavior. Repeated and violations. Blah blah blah. Go fuck yourself. I don't talk about that shit here. And let's see here. Let me see if we can. Well, I can't appeal this one. Sorry, folks. I've got my violations for hate speech. We still have fax machines technically on our printers nowadays. But yes, we had the fax machines, not in our homes. Fax machines were way too expensive for homes for the most part. Now, they did start rolling some out with printers and things like that. And they became a little bit cheaper. But for the most part, your fax machines were dubbed at stores and businesses. So so yes, the fax machines came along in the '90s. But the Super Soaker, the originals from back in the day, micro machines were just cool, especially the guy that spit out the stuff on a regular basis. You know, the original Easy Bake Oven from back in the day, which they still make them today. Masters of the Universe slime, the glitter wands, the big rave of the '90s. Oh, the Marble Works Tower. You created this intricate tower, dropped your marbles in it, and it went through this whole setup, you know. So that was cool. Always a good time. Silly string, that stuff in the can. Yes, everybody remembers the silly string. My kids love that stuff. Furbies, the original Furbies from back in the day. A lot of people thought they were terrifying, which is understandable. Transformers, absolutely, more than meets the eye. G.I. Joe, Sky Dancers, never played with that shit. The plastic toy swords you could get everywhere. Let's see here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, the giant corrugated cardboard building blocks. I don't know if you remember those. I had a Furby, the original Furby or the new stuff, the one with the motion detector in the third eye spot right there. Of course, the Cabbage Patch Kids and Cabbage Patch Dolls. The newer one, of course. Brain Quest games, an old Play School flashlight. Oh, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Who remembers those? I know they still make them, but the originals were just cool. Uh, the head would pop back whenever you won against your opponent, and it was always a very cool strategy game between you and your opponent right there. I'm just a baby. We know. I can't imagine being around back then. I'd be shunned probably, but it would be cool. No, no, you wouldn't be shunned. Of course, back to all the toys that McDonald's brought out. What else we got here? I'm trying to find some very nostalgic stuff that because everybody remembers Barbies from back in the day. Ah, the Sega Game Gear. That one's very nostalgic. Very hard to find too. Cabbage Patch, what the fuck are you doing? You're on my live, buddy. You should ask yourself that. Cabbage Patch Kids and Teddy Ruxpin. Absolutely. Teddy Ruxpin was a great thing. It scared a lot of kids, obviously, for reasons. Yo-yos back in the day. Pop rocks. Pop rocks and Coke would explode your stomach. The Burger King Pokeballs with the gold-plated cards inside. Yep, yep. Nintendo 64, absolutely. The Doodle Bears, you would color on it and then wash it off. And they still make a version of that today. The I don't remember what they're called either, but they still make those. Uh, because you see people in TikTok videos where they prank their spouse with them. They'll like tape them to a door, and so when they close the door, it pops. Or they put them on their tires. They tape them to their tires, so whenever they leave for the day, things just start exploding on their car. So yeah, man, so much. Of course, Pokemon cards from back in the day. The bass fishing game. It was just a handheld with the reel over here, and you would cast it like you normally would, but you would reel it. I remember those. The quarter machines with the balls, and inside the ball was a folded up washcloth. Absolutely. Yeah, they still make stuff like that today. Crossfire, that was a fun game. And you have to put in water for it to expand. Yep, absolutely. To go to full size washcloth. Yep. Moon shoes. I remember those. I never had a pair, but I remember those. Made it feel like you were walking in gravity style. My nephew and nieces had Cabbage Patch Kids and Teddy Ruxpin. See, that's awesome. You are knowledgeable. For your young age, you're knowledgeable. Oh, the Talk Boy. Man, I remember that thing. It was kind of like your own personal DJ in your hands, basically. Mancala, chess, Candyland, and Uno. Yeah, absolutely. But the Talk Boy, you had your cassette in there, just like, where is it at? I know I just had it here. Oh, right here. Kind of like this. And you might not even know what this is, Liz, but this is a cassette tape. It's got a little tape in there. This is a mini cassette, mini recorder, right here, and you put it in here, just like that, and then you close it, and then you can record and play and rewind and all that good stuff with the buttons up here. See, there's these little buttons up here. Nothing. They both do the same purposes. One just records your voice. This one. This is the cassette tape records your voice. A VHS tape records video. So that's the difference in the two. And but the Talk Boy was a machine like this. It had a speaker down here, but this one's the speakers over here. And on one end, you had another little microphone that you would speak into, and you would record your voice, and then you would make it do all funny kinds of stuff. Would come out the speaker. So it's always good to have the young ones in here because did you have cameras back then? Camera technology has been around for a long time, dear. Um, since longer than I've been alive. I think when was the first camera brought out, Casey? Back in like the 1600s, 1700s, or something like that. When you literally had to stand still for X amount of minutes. 1830s. See, there you go. The family would be there. They had this plate inside this big machine looking thing, and he would pull the cover, and you would have to stand still in that picture for like a minute, minute and a half, or something like that for the exposure to happen. And then he would close it, and then he would go develop it and give you your picture later. So, yeah, sometimes in the 1800s. Some of you might remember the hit clips where you had this one hit song on a little disc type thing, like a, and you would stick it in there and then play it. Tin type, yeah, yeah, tin type denography, early 1800s. Yep, the crash test dummy car. Of course, here's Liz's favorite, Pretty Pretty Princess. Did you guys have computers? Wow. Yeah, our computers, 1 megabyte used to be the size of this room. Um, and it would take, like 3 or 4 people to install it into the computer. Um, and then they started scaling them down. Texas Instruments made great computers back in the day. Commodore 64 made great computers back in the day. It was all DOS prompt. So you had to type in what you wanted it to do. Um, that was the internet. If somebody was on the internet and you used the phone, you just interrupted their internet time. Back when you used to have the dial up. And then they got smart and decided, hey, we can't do that anymore. So, uh, oh my God, sock and boppers, those were fun. Those big mitts, basically that you used to beat each other with. You got mail. Yep, that was what everybody loved to hear whenever they turned on their computer. You've got mail. I'm trying to find some cool nostalgic stuff. We've already ran through some nostalgic stuff, but I'm trying to find some. Oh, I remember those guys. I had a ton of those guys. All the homies, collecting all the homies. If somebody wants to help out Brody there, you can. They're looking for $4. But all the homies, they were Hispanic homies from back in the day. Actually, absolutely. And why we need all that technology inside of this the rockets, I don't know. The ones taking us into outer space. Goodbye. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. It used to be, pretty formal, and now you just get on and it doesn't tell you anything anymore. So laser tag, basically laser challenge, Homer Simpson toys. There's nothing's really, really forgotten because most of this stuff is remembered by most people. I had forgotten about the homies until I just saw them again. The kids laughing when you sign in, absolutely, yeah. That was always a disturbing thing. Why did they have kids laughing? That's what I don't understand. The glowworm from 1982. Of course, My Little Pony and Care Bears will never go away. Teddy Ruxpin from 85 to 86, like we've already talked about. The Pound Puppies, Mr. Potato Head, always a nostalgic piece. Masters of the Universe, Ataris, Game Boys, Rubik's Cubes. I mean, they still make those glow sticks. They've made glow sticks for forever. Once they found out they could make a liquid that would glow, that we've had it. Twister, of course, Pet Rocks. Everybody remembers Pet Rocks, which they still make today. I was just trying to read what their health and safety were for some of these toys and things like that. And it's just like we didn't care about the health and safety back then. Rock'em Sock'em Robots, yep, absolutely. That's just a walk down memory lane of what we grew up with and some of the forgotten stuff that could potentially be out there and other things that people have brought up. What about hex bugs? I don't even know what that is. Is that something of your day? Once my kids got out of the toy phase era, um, it we stopped looking at toys. I had one as a kid. I remember when they were so popular. Or Legos are still popular today, and it's ridiculous the price of Legos now. I've got a friend that's selling an old retired Star Wars Millennium Falcon that they want $300 for, which I guess is a good price. But oh yeah, Jacks, absolutely. They were worse than Legos because they had sharp edges on them. Well, they were blunted, but they turned into sharp objects when you stepped on them. Absolutely. I mean, Legos are just as bad, especially when your kids leave them out. Uh, but yeah, no, Legos have been around for forever, and like I said, it's one of those things that you either had them or you didn't as a kid growing up. And if you didn't have them, then a friend of yours probably did, and you were at their house, playing with their toys. I still have coloring books to this day. I have since I was a kid. You know, those are cool because they're coming out with the adult style with the horror and things like that. And so it's like they make some cool stuff for adults. And it's not just for kids anymore. After work, I use them. See that, and that's an escape for you to get into that. Me, after work, I'm out working in the yard. So once I get done with the artwork side of things inside, I go outside and work in the yard. I loved color by numbers, and a lot of people did. Oh, see, Dennis never had any. Oh, you never had any Legos? Well, you should get some. You're an adult now. You should get some. Well, you're close to an adult. You still got a little bit before you're considered an adult. Which you're in the military, you should be considered an adult anyway. If you can fight for the country, you can go get you a drink somewhere. Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, yeah, I remember. What is it? Is it one of those M months, March or May or something like that? I believe you said on your one of your live shows or something, or one of my live shows or something like that. But no, color by numbers was always a fun thing. See, May, there you go. I knew it was one of those M months to go with your MP. Um, so May 22nd of 2026 or 2027 will wish you a big giant happy 21st birthday. I'm old and past my expiration date. LOL. So you're like a carton of milk. You either get turned into cottage cheese or tossed out with the garbage. I feel that some days. I love the activities and books and newspapers that elders do. You dick. I remember playing with Abraham Lincoln building blocks, actual logs. Absolutely, yeah. The Tinker toys and the log cabin stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Those were some of the best toys to play with because it broadened your mind. Oh, no, I don't just have to build a box. I can build something else with the rest of these, and create more. Just like Tinker toys and what was it, the Erecta set? Did anyone else's grandma have an aluminum cookie tin? Absolutely, absolutely. And it was like dark edges or black in certain spots that would never come out. Yeah, absolutely. And Liz, your grandmother's probably my age, isn't she? Erect what? Erect a sketch. It was metal pieces that you put together and created towers with and buildings and things like that. Erecta set. Erecta set, I believe is what it was called. But yes, yes. See, see, she's very close to my age, so I knew that that's where you're going with that. Um, but it's no different than a friend of mine. She was a grandmother at 34, so so that means her child was like 17, something like that, when she was giving birth to her own daughter or child. So yeah, um, grandparents can be made early. I remember my parents had huge ceramic cookies. Absolutely, a lot of grandparents and parents had cookie jars, and that's where the term came. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, you know, because you're that one little clink of the ceramic, and your hand is going in the cookie jar, and here comes a parent around the corner. What are you doing? Nothing. As your hand is in the cookie jar, you know. I have baby fever so bad, but I'm forcing myself to wait. You need to. You need to wait till you're about 30, just to be honest. We were up to 30.4 thousand likes, and that is awesome. Puts us in the popular live category. And again, we've had some weirdos come on the show, as typical behavior happens. Well, Liz, they do have clinics for that. Um, just be careful with that, all right? Oh, typical, typical. Just be careful, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. Just be careful. Oh, I don't want to work. I'm not saying a word. Oh my god. Oh man. What a world. What a world. Like I said, that was the title of one of our other shows. But yes, nobody does want to work, for sure. Hush, let me live. I mean, you can have kids at whatever age you want, but let your career happen first, please. Uh, and and get settled. You know, I'm sure you're making a career out of the military side of things, which is awesome. It's different for me though. Liz, I had my family at 19. My first son was born, who's now gone. And, and then 20 months later, here comes his sister. And then 10 years later, here comes the little sister. So live, live life first before you start your family side. That's, and I can't say regret because, my kids are great other than them not talking to me thanks to your, their ex mother in law, their stepmother, um, who told them whatever she told them. And now they don't talk to me anymore. And live life first, because I wish I would have lived life first instead of started a family so young, because I didn't get a chance to live. It was working all the time because you had to have formula in the house if the breastfeeding wasn't working, or you know, food for everybody, you know. And no, I mean, it's life. You know, he died in an ATV accident. He had joined the military. He was going to be a combat medic. He was already drilling with his crew, and then, you know, then an accident happened. You know, nothing that anybody could see coming. And it's just like, and I don't know if you've been here for my stories, Liz, but you know, in 2008, my sister was killed by a drunk driver. We started raising her son as another son in the house, so my nephew. And then 2009, my son was killed by the ATV accident. And then in 2010, my grandfather died, who was my father figure. So, and so for 3 years straight, in less than a year apart, a tragedy was happening. You know, and that's why it took me a year to get out of my funk, if you will, of not wanting to be below dirt, if you know what I mean. And again, another dickhead that comes on the show that gets gone. Absolutely. And hold on, I need to read what she said right here. Me and my ex girlfriend literally found a donor already, and we're going to do it in a few years. See, a few years, you know, that'll put you at what? You're That'll put you at 22. That's still pretty young. Um, so, you know, I would still say wait. You know, that's just me. Again, especially if you're doing your career in the military side of things, um, you don't want to fuck that up. You know, and unfortunately, that could do that. And I'm not saying it would, but I'm just saying that there's a possibility. Just get ready for babysitting duties. Well, we can talk about that. You know, you are far away, so it'd be a little bit more difficult to babysit. Um, but no, kids are great. You know, I don't regret having them. I just wish it would have been a little bit later in life, uh, be more established, you know, with things. And because, like I said, I was a kid out of high school. She was a girl out of high school, and you know, then we got married. So that was life for the next almost 19 years until she asked for the divorce, and then she was already re-engaged to another man before the divorce papers were even brought up, before the divorce papers were even put on the table. You know, so it's just like live life first, and then start your family. If I give any sage advice to you, that's where it's going to be. Uh, don't jump into family life too early. And I know it's inevitable for some people sometimes, um, but well, I appreciate that because you are younger than my youngest daughter, so so that works out. So there you go. Um, just like a lot of our lives, we've had some characters on here, and I'm sure somebody reported me for what we're violation for right now, and we got two violations kicked on us because I blocked you. Big fucking deal. I'll block you every time you come on my show. Especially acting a fool like they did right off the bat. And the critters are doing good. Everybody's staying, you know, hydrated and you know eating well. Um, they are warm out there because how can they not be? It is 103 degrees, you know, right now. Right now it's not, but what is the temperature right now? I don't see it. Why did you move it? Why did you move it? Ba-bum. It is 82 degrees right now, which means it's only going to get warmer. I have work soon, so I'm not happy. Of course, it's 60. See, you guys are in the good temperature areas. Like I said, we're 82 degrees right now, and we're actually going to get a cool front move in, where it's 90 degrees instead of 103. So whenever you say it's a cool front moving in and you get 90 degrees, that's awesome. But I'm still out working in it every day, even if it's 103 with a heat index of 112, 114, whatever it is. Um, yeah, it's Arkansas, and a lot of people don't like to be heard as Arkansas. Low 60s on Lake Superior. See, that's awesome. And I wish we had those low 60s going on here because you walk outside right now and it's still muggy as all get out. You say it, Arkansas. It's just like when you say Minnesota. You gotta use the accent. You can't just say Minnesota. Minnesota. No, it's Minnesota. Eh? Arkansas. Absolutely. I mean, and that's basically how it was created. And Arkansasiers don't like that. Those that were born and bred here, they don't like it that way. We are not part of Kansas at all. We do not like Kansas. We are Arkansas. No, you were made up from another state. Just go figure. Just get over it. And I'm glad I'm not from here, uh, because you can see, you know, family lines, 100%, if you know what I mean. We had a couple of hot ass days here. Monday and Tuesday were near 100 here in KCMO. And Dennis, that's to be expected. We are in the dog days of summer, as they like to say. The Boston area is always a bit warm. Yes, Clarice, but did the lamb stop screaming? Oh, but no, a lot is happening here. Like I said, besides bringing up nostalgic toys from forgotten eras when some people weren't alive. Yes, I'm looking at you, Clarice. Liz, we're talking about you. Being a 2006 baby. But lots and lots of stuff is happening. Nostalgic times, stuff happening here. Toothbrush was invented in Arkansas. Otherwise, it would have been called teeth brush. Absolutely, because that one tooth that they were brushing to get it clean. I wasn't even swimming in my dad's sack yet during your days. Absolutely not. You might have been a twinkle in his eye. Uh, Maybe. No, not really. But that came later, I guess. But pun intended. Um, and if you didn't catch it, go back and listen to it again. Uh, oh, one of these days I'm going to get this 3D printing figured out. And so funny, so funny. Hey, anything to make you smile before you go to work. Ugh. That ugh. You go look up Build a Cat, from uh, what was it? Bloomfield, Bloommakers, Bloom something or other. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see Build a Cat. That should be your new spirit animal, when it comes to things. Let me look him up. Maybe I can do a quick print of him. There he is. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna do. Where's my drawing? Oh my, show him on the desktop. See if we can't get him. I'm gonna print him out real fast. That'll be my next event. Bill the Cat. I'm all for it. I grew up on Bill the Cat. Great character. Um, Now let's open you up in photos. Bloom County. That was at the comic strip Bloom County. We're gonna see if he'll print out for us this morning really fast. If it'll even pop up. I love Care Bears still, so I'm all in for it. Nevada, Missouri, if you know what you know. Missouri, Missouri. You got to say Missouri. You can't say Missouri. It's Missouri. Are you not going to work for me? Are you working for? What are we doing here? Come on, wait, stop, stop. It's just like meeting the moonshiners, Mark and Digger. People can't ever pronounce my state. Misery. Yeah, you can say misery. All right, here we go. We're gonna see if he'll print out. Elder trying to use a printer. Oh, I will keep it in check because I've already got a violation. Oh my gosh. No, I've got the computer. Everything works fine. It's just not fast enough for me. I'm faster than the computer because it's an old computer. You know. So anybody want to donate a newer computer? That would be great. Dun, dun, dun. No, we go with the 8.5 by 11 letter size. Where's my letter size? There you are. There's my letter size. There we go. Let's get it printed out right here, right there. Let's see if she's going to print out. Mizzou. Missouri. At this point, fax it to me, LMAO. That's called texting nowadays. You text a picture to somebody. Bum, bum, bum. Are you ready for your spirit animal? Are you ready? Are you ready for your spirit animal? Liz, this is your spirit animal. Bill the cat. That is your spirit animal right there. Bum, bum, bum. He was a great character from Bloom County. Bloom County was just a all around. Again, it was unfortunately political, absolutely 100%, and a lot of satire in there. And Bill the Cat was just a fun one to go with the other cast of characters in that comic strip. And one of the like this one where he's sitting on the toilet reading a newspaper, where he's on a kitty litter box. I don't see him on. He gave me a text earlier this morning, or a good morning text to Facebook or TikTok here. He's probably asleep already, but he's got like, if you know Newt Gingrich, it says Newt to pull plug on tasteless art as he's sitting on the kitty litter box reading the newspaper, with a cigarette in his mouth, of course. That's how political this Bloom County was. They would attack everybody. Nobody was off limits, and so it's just fun stuff back in the day. Calvin and Hobbes, absolutely, and we'll get into some of those nostalgic characters for the next show, beloved comic strips and things like that people just don't remember, or they don't even read the comics anymore, which is kind of sad. That was one of the, besides the sports page, that was the biggest draw to me. Sports, obituary, and the comics was my draw to the newspaper. I'm a big Snoopy fan. Snoopy was a good one. Um, I was looking because I used to have a Snoopy something or other running around here. I don't see it right now. I might not even have it anymore. I don't know. Al, Jim Davis, creator of Garfield, turned 81 just yesterday. So I do have his autograph in an autograph book down here. Got it back in the day before you was even born, Liz. Back in the 90's, whenever, because like I said, back in the day, you used to be able to write to celebrities and send it to their PO box or whatever, and their people would get it, and they would, get an autograph to you from the person. And I got a lot of autographs that way. So pens existed in the 90s? Oh, yeah, they were quill, and you had to dip them in this inkwell, and then you had to write, you know, in cursive that nobody reads today. You know, jerk. Pens have been around for a long time, there, dear. Even before, you know, when it was quill. Wax stamp seal, yeah, that was back in the the early hundreds. You know, the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries. You know, when they used to wax seal letters so that you know it wasn't broken. You know, prior to getting to its destination. Or how about Mrs. Butterworth, Aunt Jemima? I mean, all the stuff that's getting canceled today. You know, back when you were around, yeah, I was. I've been around for. You know, I'm older than Methuselah. If you don't know who Methuselah is, go check him out. One of the oldest living, you know, supposed people. Yeah, no books. It was tablets. We had to carve. Well, you're welcome for my service, and you can thank Liz too. She is a enlisted right now Marine. Not Marine. She's Army, but she is an MP. That's what was coming out of my mouth. And you know him. You're a crayon eater now. No, see, whenever I was coming out of high school, that was the only people recruiting me was the Marines, and I literally told the recruiter I didn't want to stop tanks with my head. So, you know, I decided to wait, and I did. I was 33 years old whenever I joined the military in the Army. So, you know, well, see, you're bringing in people, and that's cool, and that's what it's about. It's bringing people together that have some sense, you know, in their brain. And for those other ones that I blocked today, this is all I got to say right there. And, you know, because you're going to come on my show and act a fool, that's what you get, you know. See, that's awesome. And that's what it's just like my sister when she came out to us, you know. And we understood because, you know, she had been done wrong by all the guys that she was with, 100%, you know, and abuse and then the baby daddy taken off as soon as he found out she was pregnant, and she was done with guys at that point in time. You know, she'd gone through so many breakups and heartaches that she was done. I'm not saying she didn't have heartaches and breakups with on the other side either, you know. So, and that's fine. You know, I have no ill will against you or anybody that you know has been that way their entire life. You know, that's to each their own. You know, it's not something that I'm into, but you know, if that's what you're into and that's where you are in life, there you go. See, and no, we don't do math debates here. Sorry, there's channels for that. And see, absolutely, absolutely. But this is her spirit animal, MC. Bill the cat. That's her spirit animal. Throwing up the rock horns right there. This is her new spirit animal, Bill the cat from Bloom County. Yeah, there's some characters out there today. I don't know what's in the water, you know, in today's times. Yes, this is my artwork on my shirt. This is a piece of my artwork that I've done up. Let's see here. And the artwork in the back, absolutely, yes. All this is my painted artwork back here in the back from Chester Bennington here, passed on to the Aussie pieces, passed on to part of my Naughty Nun Bad Habit series right there that glows under black light. Well, I appreciate that. I'm actually in the works with collaborating with another creator, uh, Hippie Gone Harley. We're going to be working on some things together as well. It's me. I'm in the newspaper. I fly solo, wingman usually. There you go. See, and we all have a role to play sometimes. And if it's going to help, somebody else score something, that's fine. Make it happen. Well, I appreciate Ace Love for that. Yeah, this is what I do. I illustrate, I'm a disabled veteran, and I homestead all at the same time. So from about 3 o'clock in the morning until about noonish, 1 o'clock, I'm doing artwork. I have to take a break in there about 7 o'clock to go feed the animals and let the chickens and the birds out, the fowl out, which right now is totaling in the number of about 50 birds between the chickens, the geese, and the ducks, and then the littles that we have inside right now. Um, well, I appreciate that, MC. It's it's fun, It's what keeps me from raging out sometimes. If you get my drift, hey, come on over. They're here. They're here 24/7. So, but yeah, no, it's just like I'm doing the intricate details on this big God of War piece right now. So I'm working on this chain and stuff right here as I work up his arm, and then I'll be working on this other arm with chain as well. Chain over here. So there's a lot of intricate details that I'm working on right now on this massive. It's a massive piece. It's 18 by 24 inches. So it's huge. It's huge. That's what she said. And but it's all getting into the fine, intricate details right there, and it's just like a lot of people don't see that. They see the first sketch of it, and then that's all they see. Well, I try to keep everybody in the loop, including the person that commissioned the piece. Just like on this one, whenever he saw it for the first time, it looked like this, you know. And then I sent him this picture, which has more intricate detail coming in on the predator itself over here. If I can get the right thing going on here, all the intricate details that are going into it now before it starts getting the ink process. And I'm also working on a book cover. I'm working on a logo for another author for the works that I'm on his cover thereof, his Sour Worlds Calamities right here. So this is my artwork on his book. And book number 2 is coming out with my artwork as well. And then book number 3 and 4, again, will have my artwork on it. And I'm also working on some pieces, up here that are just because pieces, as well as paintings that I'm working on that are back here on the floor that you guys can't see, but they can on the other screen over here. So it's just fun. That's where life should be. Life should be fun. It shouldn't be like Liz getting ready to go to work and being Bill the cat. Ugh. You know, and I get it. Work is not always fun, but if you do what you love and it's work, then it's not fun anymore either. So do what you love for fun. And how do we do that? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Because I love what I do. I love doing the illustrations. I love drawing things up for people. And, that's why I have commission list, Yep, those are up for grabs. I do have prints of the top one right now as well that are much cheaper than the originals. But if you are interested in any of those, you know, you can hit me up because I'm always making deals, you know, for my pieces of artwork. There is a set price for those sizes right there, and I can tell you what they are. Just not here because then we get more restrictions. We've already got restrictions for blocking people today, so and that's I don't give a shit to block people. I'll block you left and right if you come in here acting a fool. So support elder businesses, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna pass on soon, and so our businesses won't be here much longer. And that's why you need to tell everybody that you love them, now, because tomorrow technically isn't promised to anybody. The next 30 minutes isn't promised to anybody either. So to all of you here on the show live right now, we do love you, 100%, because again, tomorrow is not promised, and it's that needs to be a practice that you get into, is sharing a little bit of kindness during your day. And now, I'm not going to be kind to those that come on here acting a fool and saying what they were saying, um, being derogatory and shit like that. They're gone. I have no tolerance for that bullshit. And I think anybody that's been on my shows long enough knows that I don't tolerate that bullshit. If you want to do that on somebody else's channel and they're fine with it, cool, go ahead. But you come to my channel, you try to disrupt my show with your bullshit, you're gone, 100%. And I don't feel bad about it 1%, because again, here you go. That's all I got for you. The coin right there. And yes, these were 3D printed off of my printer over there, my resin printer. And we love you too. Um, that whole love stuff. I'd block them for you, but I don't have mod powers. Yeah, I probably do need to give some mod powers to some people in here, but then they might get a little crazy too, and just start blocking people left and right. I don't like that person. Tomorrow is never know, and it may be never a promise. There you go. There you go. All right, folks. It has been great, except for the disruptors on here that did get blocked. That was the great part. I'm not that crazy. You're not batshit crazy? Why not? You're in the military. You're supposed to be. Don't leave me. Don't leave. But you're getting ready to go to work, remember? I don't know what time. What time do you go to work? Because we should be in the same time zone, I think. You're in Central Time Zone, right? Because it's 5:41 a.m. right now. 6:41 here. Okay, so we're not in the same time zone. So you're almost at 7 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. You're Eastern. Okay, gotcha. And so yeah, I don't know what time you're supposed to clock in. You know, that's if it's 7 o'clock, that's 20 minutes away, or 19 minutes away if you want to get. Wow. See, here's another one. Here's another one that gets the old boot because they're being a dickhead. Some people, man. And this is what they do with their time. I just don't understand that shit. They're not going to see that, so they're gone. So they're already blocked from this live. So, well, there's actual real people that do that shit, Keaton. So, and you know that's all they do, is they go on people's shows and they try to disrupt what they're doing, and by creating shit like that, and then they have like two or three other accounts, you know, and it's just like, I just don't understand, you know, where is your mentality with that, I mean, I get it, it can be funny and all that good stuff, but I ain't got the tolerance for it, you know. If you want to come on here telling jokes and stuff like that and trying to get people to say certain keywords off of, different words put together, which there's been plenty of that, I let that stuff slide. But when it comes to this type of stuff, there's no call for it. And yeah, I get it. I can be boring with that type of shit there, Liz. But it's no, I actually can't. But oh man, and see, I'm not blocking you because I know you for the most not know you, but through the show we've become friends. So you're like a daughter to me because you're younger than my daughters. Okay, but no, there's just like I was talking to someone yesterday. I just don't have tolerance for a lot of bullshit anymore. Um, if you want to be a disruptor, that's cool. But once you get into certain stuff and you start spilling certain things, you're gone. I don't have the tolerance for it anymore. I'm too old for that shit. You know, and I'm this old for a reason as well. Um, and I'm not gonna say there hasn't been some people that have tried to take me out, but I'm still standing. We'll leave it at that. And like I told the people that wanted to wear me as a skin suit, come on and try. You're not getting 10 feet in the door. Sorry. And if you know, you know. Um, like I said, I just don't have the tolerance for a lot of things anymore. I keep a lot of things in check, to be honest. Um, I do have a bad temper, a bad anger issue, which is one of the reasons why they dub me as non employable um, when it comes to working around other people. Because I literally told one of my therapists what I would do to somebody had I stayed at the job I was at. Um, and they were like, seriously? And I'm like, I'm dead serious. And they're like, okay, can't put you around people. Yeah, yeah, I get that. And that's what I did for years. And once they started pushing the wrong buttons, it wasn't pretty. Because 2 years of that job, they put a big target on my back. And nothing I ever did was correct, if you get my meaning. Even though I was doing the exact same thing day in and day out, the same, I would change things up. I would do this, I would do that, but it was never good enough for the last 2 years of working at that job. And so I was not hurt one bit when I dropped my letter of resignation on the desk and said, read between the lines. We all are people too. Absolutely. I mean, Dennis, there is a point. That was something we never did in school. But I've heard tale of that type of stuff. Uh-huh. Actually. Yeah, there. And see, I'm keeping it in check. But yeah, no, no. The poop smearing happened in somebody else's day. It didn't happen in our day. Now, I mean, the criminally and clinically insane would do that 100%. And I don't understand why you would want to grab and or poop in your hand and write on the walls. I just don't understand. You know, I mean, hopefully it had some corn in it while you were licking your fingers. You know, um, since corn doesn't digest in the system, and you know that's how cream corn is invented, right? That's the Crisco Disco Mob. Yeah, that's how cream corn is invented. They get it directly from the water plant where they collect the corn and in its slimy juice and put it back into cans. Have it shipped to the companies. Ah. So next time you eat some cream corn, just remember where it came from. Straight from the water facility plant. So next time at the assembly line, whenever you eat that cream corn that gets plopped on your plate, just remember Bill had it first, or Jenny, or Rico, or whoever. You know, I'm never eating corn again. Yes, the cream corn is reused from the water facility plant, where they collect it from your toilet system, you know, from your bowels, because corn does not digest in the system, uh, as we all know. Corn? I didn't eat corn. As Casey says, no, that's not true. But how do we know it's not? A little wash here, a little wash there, a little bleach on it. You know, we don't know. And doesn't it have a funky smell when you open up the can anyway? It's just like they say, human waste makes the great. You ruined it. Ah, trust me, I could ruin a lot of things. Okay, Tom Pearl, I could ruin a lot of things if you really wanted me to, but I'm not going to. Cream corn is just one of those things. It's just like corn in general. It doesn't break down in the system. And I remember there was something back in the day. It was a movie that did have the corn separated in the water facility plant. So that's where. Do I know who that is? Tom Pearl. Any gray? Pardon me, but do you have Grey Poupon? Yes, I do. Tom Pearl. That name does sound familiar. We're gonna look up Tom Pearl. Tom Pearl. Is it the shock video guy? Because hopefully it's not the other one who is a schmexual offender. Or is it Thomas Simon Pearl, the actor? Oh, yeah, no, I haven't watched The Brown Eater. Sorry, no. No, that's a new one. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, not something I would naturally watch. Two Girls, One Cup. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. That's a different kind of mentality right there. I mean, corn and peanuts right there, you know. But yeah, I can't remember what movie it was, but they had the corn tube separated in the water facility plant, and they talked about, you know, this is reclaimed corn, you know, for the masses, and that just always stuck with me from that movie, and I can't even remember what movie it is. So that's the only thing I remember about that movie too. Yeah, it's Human Centipede vibes. Human Centipede was a great movie. Human Centipede 1 and 2, great movies. But if you're not into that, don't watch it because it can get to you. But now, Human Centipede, great, great stuff. And you know, the funny thing is about that, they actually got medical advice to see if it would actually work. From what I understand, the third one traumatized me. They should do some more of those because they could keep going 100%. Absolutely. As well as many of the horror movies of any time period, what their lore came from, and what their origin story was, and how it came into existence. Um, you could pick any horror movie and find out what its lore is based off of, and like you said, the origin story, you know, with Human Centipede, and and with that, what do you know about that? The truck driver thing. Very correct. She knows her stuff, folks. She knows her stuff. The original joke. Tom Six stated that he came up with the core concept while watching a television news report about a child smolester. He joked with his friends that a fitting punishment would be to stitch the offender's mouth to the anus of an overweight truck driver. The development gag. In the actual movie, the mad surgeon, Dr. Hyder, initially abducts a heavy set truck driver as his first potential specimen for the centipede. Yes, you're right. And yeah, that's you hear that how a lot of things start. And so, you know, if you've never seen the human centipede and you're not into disgusting horror, don't watch that one. Don't watch any of the human centipedes. But the truck driver's blood type didn't match, so they picked a random Asian. Well, the thing is, like it says right here, they picked the tourist couple. Dr. Hyder tested truck driver blood test, and declares him not a match for the medical chain and promptly disposes of him by getting rid of him, uh, and then serving as a direct nod to the director's original morbid premise. So, yes, the truck driver was not a match. So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You're a smart cookie, 100%. And we've known that. And do you know how it kept going? I do love cookies, literally and metaphysically, metaphorically. Wink, wink. So, expanding the idea of the truck driver that he did. After joking about it, Six took a photo of his then girlfriend on all fours, photoshopped a multi person chain of her back to back, nose to butt, and realized it created a striking claustrophobic visual concept for a horror film. So that's how it continued on from his joke to his then ex girlfriend, and the rest is history. Not to mention the medical side of things to see if it would actually work. And so, the strange fascinations and morbid minds, Casey. Strange fascinations and morbid minds. Some people could say the same thing about me with some of my artwork. Yes, we have to try it to see if it actually works. Yeah, I know you understand. And but people are going to have those morbid fascinations and curiosities from now until the end of time. It's just like the people that come on here and throw out their rhetoric, from start to just a few minutes ago. Um, People have their perverse pleasures, if you will, and people will never be tired of it or them. You No, and there's other people that will never have that frequency, you know, of that type of a mind. I've dabbled in the dark web, and the dark web is, a fascinating place. Um, that you can get caught up in 100%. I mean, that's where you get some interesting things sent to you, if you will. I saw the Pain Olympics, the dark deal. Pain Olympics. And see, people get pleasure out of pain. That's why all these, HD Carlton and, the 50 Shades and so on and so forth. I collected snuff. I gotcha. And that's what several movies out there are based off of, are those type of films. And not the little canister that's set by your great grandmother's side. Saw gets you. What did I just walk into? Morbid fascinations and curiosities. We were talking about Human Centipede just a second ago. So Hellcat. And we talk about all kinds of things: horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my artwork, things of that nature. And we've been talking about Human Centipede here the last few minutes, and that's what you walked into. So much appreciated for you being here. Yes, Bazinga, great liners from the TV show, and Young Sheldon as well. So there you go. Yes, Liz here, military-minded personnel here. She brought up Human Centipede for us today. Now, we were talking about nostalgia before you walked in. Prior to that, Hellcat, we were talking about nostalgic toys from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So there you go. And but yes, this is nerd culture here, with all things nerdy, if you will, and that's what we like to talk about. Uh, we do talk about some heavy stuff sometimes. We talk about life, periodically. Very, I wouldn't say rare, but it's in there. We have to talk about it. So, but for Liz, it is now 7:03. Here it's 6:03. But we are going to kill it for today. We do appreciate each and everybody being here. We love you all. And don't forget to tell other people that you do love them as well. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.